Texting. Welcome back, America. Segment 2 on a frigid Friday here. It is very balls. Frigid. We have shrinkage, America. The redoubtable one himself, Tom Izzo, highly questionable Arjun Miliacho here in the mid-sack. It is December 8th. Happy early Merry Christmas. There will be many more Merry Christmases to come in the coming days and weeks before the big day, before the red man. The red man in the big sleigh with that silly-looking reindeer with that stupid nose. Yeah, that dude.
Dude, this light is getting brighter and brighter by the minute.
It's all about you.
I mean, I'm flushed.
He's flushed. I probably can adjust it a little. Does that help?
Oh my God, that's so much better.
Oh, there you go. Oh, hey,
I looked like a pasty fuck with that
pasty.
light on. Jesus.
The redoubtable one himself, the pasty redoubtable.
I'm Olive, goddammit. I'm Olive.
I'm Olive. Tom Izzo.
Not white as a ghost.
Redoubtable.
Look like Sean Bradley. Fuck.
Wow. Highly questionable one, Arjun Miliacho. Welcome back to IDD. For those who know, I don't disagree. Segment 2, NFL pick segment. Now, you know, as impressive as our record appeared to be last night, fear not, America. Actually, you should be. It's better now because he went 10-3 and I went 11-2. And again, if you look at the games that we got wrong, I mean, you're like nobody picks those. Nobody picks those. I mean, Cincinnati.
Well, you picked the fucking Packers.
Yeah, that one. But I'm saying that was in Green Bay, and Green Bay was ascending, and the Chiefs offense is suspect. But Cincinnati going into Jacksonville without Burrow and winning.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, look. They have the weapons, the quarter. Look at that's the credit to the head coach because that dude's like, you got these weapons, and I'm going to let you use them.
Yeah.
And kudos to him for doing it because Cincinnati took
him a minute to take the handcuffs off.
But when he did, yeah. And again, they did that to San Francisco. Cincinnati's passing game can do that to anybody in this league. If the QB gets time.
And Higgins was back.
And he was pretty.
Helps.
They didn't have him for a couple of weeks, but now he's back. So anyway,
we picked the Steelers last night. Of course, we know they
Mitchell. We got Mitchell. We got Trubisky.
We got Biscuit.
Oh, by the way, Ryan Clark today. They were on NFL. By the way, you guys got zapped.
He said that?
The girls were saying it to him. He was so mad. Like, you can't say that on TV. And the girls are laughing. Mina Kimes. Welcome back, Mina Kimes, by the way. Just had a baby. Good for her.
Oh, is that where she went?
Yeah, she's a mom now. Congratulations to Mina Kimes. A shout out from IDD. I know she watches this every day, right? But we love her. I'm a big fan of hers, and the NFL crew, all those guys, the big Swagoo, I love them. All Orlovsky, those guys, they got a great crew. The ESPN got that one right. But yeah, they were jabbing poor Ryan, and Ryan had a right to be pissed because honestly, there's no way Pittsburgh should have won that, lost that game last night. But Mitchell Trubisky found a way. He found a way. So anyway,
He's resourceful.
He is resourceful.
Who's your first game? We got Sunday morning.
We've got Sunday. Is it a Sunday morning game?
Well, I mean, Sunday, 1 o'clock.
All right, first game. Actually, there's some interesting ones here. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. They both, I believe, have the same record, but Atlanta, I think, is in front by. Oh no, Atlanta's 6-6, I think, and Tampa Bay's 5-7. Is that right?
On there?
No, it doesn't say.
Click on it.
Click on Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Tampa's in first, aren't they? Or is
New Orleans Atlanta's in first. They're 6-6.
Atlanta's in first.
Yep, Tampa Bay and New Orleans are both 5-7.
I kind of want to pick.
Tampa Bay is 5-7. Tampa Bay won at the Vikings. Tampa Bay lost to Philly and then beat Chicago and beat the Vikings back to back. So Tampa Bay's won 2 in a row. They've got climbed back into this thing.
Atlanta barely beat the Jets last week.
Barely. How do I put this? Because to me, this is a coin flip game because it's in Atlanta.
I've got mine down.
If what's his nuts there, Baker is going to have a career as a starter beyond this year. This is a game he has to win. Let's be honest. It's a game he has to win because he has better weapons on the outside with those two, if I'm assuming they're healthy. And Tampa Bay's defense, Godwin and Evans. The two of them are still those two. Mm-hmm. The running back's been good. White's been good this year, so he's got weapons. Man, that's a tough one. I'm
going Falcons.
I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay on this one. I'm gonna give Baker Mayfield because he's got to be better than the other quarterback, right? That quarterback's not better than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the Bucs already beat them, didn't they?
They beat them in Tampa, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
to me, but
more likely the Bucks win that game. But I'm going with B.
Well, Atlanta's at home, and they've got Atlanta needs the game too. They got this is for first place.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. It's for first place. So we're split on that one. Okay. So then Detroit at Chicago. I can't see Detroit. Detroit's really they've got to win this game. They have to because the Packers have woken up.
Detroit won last week, right?
I believe they did.
Yeah, Laporta went crazy.
Chicago's defense stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks. By the way, Chicago damn near beat them a couple weeks ago in Detroit. So Detroit,
that's right.
Detroit beat them in the
so
last
now they can't
minute.
take them lightly.
They can't take them lightly.
Yeah.
I think Detroit wins that game. Indianapolis at Cincinnati. I'm going with Cincinnati on that one because they're at home, and I think if they can go into Jacksonville and win, they can certainly beat Indianapolis at home. And this quarterback appears to understand the toys he has, and his coach is going to let him throw to his toys. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I'm going Indy.
Okay.
I'm going with the Minshew. I don't think it's going to be as easy for Jake Browning this week.
Probably not.
I don't think.
Although Indy's D is not that good.
No, I'm not saying they're good, but I think a week seeing some tape on him will help.
Well, the tape is, those three receivers are back. What do we do?
That's true.
That's the tape.
That's true.
Let's be honest here.
But I also think Jacksonville was not prepared.
I don't understand them.
Yeah.
They're the classic Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, there's
really
no
are.
way. I know what's his face got hurt, but that was with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're good enough. They should have fucking boat raced Cincy without Burrow. So I'm going Indy there.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
We got a couple of suspect picks already.
The next one, Jacksonville, speaking of the devil, at Cleveland.
2 backups. Although Cleveland's got Joey Flacco.
He has not been ruled out.
Who?
Lawrence practiced today.
Really?
Yeah, he's questionable.
Jeez, the way he went down, I thought he was gone.
I didn't believe it either until I saw the video today on ESPN of him. He was practicing. Now he's probably a game time decision.
I don't know. Without him, I think I'm going Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland's D is still Cleveland's D.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's.
I just hate that Flacco's.
See, here's the thing: if I am Jacksonville, because you're still going to be in first place when the weekend is over, I think. Because I don't think Indy's going to win.
Play him, right?
I don't think you play him against Cleveland.
No, he's going to get.
I don't think you throw him to that against that defense.
No. That's like throwing an injured.
To me, and he's not going to be 100%. Let's be clear about this. Not that. No.
No, it's a high ankle, isn't it?
That's a high ankle sprain. If he does play, that thing's going to be needled up, and he's not going to feel it. He's going to have a stump. He's going to be a sitting duck for that defense.
I'm going Browns.
I'm going Browns on that one.
They have the complementary stuff that can overcome the quarterback. Where
and I don't know.
I
don't know what Jacksonville's defense is.
Yeah, who knows?
I know this: they're not consistent. They're just not consistent at all. And at no point has Jacksonville's defense shut somebody down. Just shut them down. They haven't done it yet. So I take Cleveland also. Next one, Carolina at New Orleans. New Orleans.
Yeah.
Houston at the Jets. Houston. I know that after the whole who's going to start, does he want to play, does he even care? Zach Wilson. At the end of the day, is it going to matter against Houston?
No, they're going to lose.
I don't think they're going to beat Houston.
Although Houston, I think they're going to miss Tank Dell a lot.
They are, but they also got Noah Brown back. They didn't have Noah Brown. They got him back.
I thought he's been back.
He got back last week. It was his first game, but he didn't start. But he's going to start this week.
Yeah, but I mean, Tank Dell was like a 1.
Well, they got Nico Collins. He is the 1.
Nico Collins is their 1.
No, Nico Collins is their 1.
Really?
Yeah, he's their 1, and he's back. They didn't have him for a couple. He's back. So I think that'll be enough to deal with a Jets team that can't score. They like the Patriots. The Rams at Baltimore. The Rams have rejuvenated themselves. They are 6-6. They are back in the NFC playoff race. The offense looks healthy for the first time in a very, very, very long time. But they are going into that place to play that defense, which is number 1 in the league.
Yeah, and who did the Rams beat last week? To me, it wasn't that impressive.
They beat
a crappy team.
They beat Cleveland 36-19.
Yeah.
At home, they won by 17.
I guess
And by the way,
36.
Cleveland's defense is still Cleveland. They put 60 on that defense. But again, Baltimore's defense technically is rated higher, and this is not at home. This is they're coming across the country.
Yeah. Why does it doesn't feel like Baltimore's defense is better than Cleveland?
It doesn't. But the thing is, they're always playing with the lead because Lamar Jackson has weapons now. And this is what now. Last time they faced Baltimore, just so you know, without these weapons, Lamar lit these guys up. Without Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers,
When was that?
It was like 2 years ago. They didn't have all these guys. They still had Andrews, but they didn't have all these guys. So he lit them up for like 325, and he threw for 2 and ran for 1, and they couldn't stop him when he didn't have these guys. Now he's got these 2 on the outside with him. I think this is going to be a good game because I think the Rams' offense when they got all the weapons, they're formidable.
They're probably going to score.
They're going to score because that receiving core, and Mitchell's a very good quarterback.
Stafford.
I'm sorry, Stafford. I keep saying Mitchell. Stafford.
Mitchell. Oh, Trubisky.
No, not him. He's not a very good quarterback.
All right, who's up next?
So we both got Baltimore in that one.
Yeah, both have the Ravens.
Minnesota at the Raiders. Somehow the Raiders are still in this thing.
I think I'm going to go with the home team on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I think Water has found its level with Minnesota with his quarterback.
Did they win last week?
That's a good question.
I want to say they did, right?
I'll tell you right now.
Because they're still in the mix.
No, not them. Minnesota.
It was last week when Dobbs had all those picks against the Bears. No, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Minnesota last week was, where were they? Saints, Denver, Chicago. They had a bye week. They lost to Chicago 12-10.
So it was the Chicago's.
Yeah, well, they're coming off their bye week. They lost at home to Chicago 12-10.
Well, I mean, that's actually pretty big for them to have a bye week with Dobbs.
They've had 2 weeks to prepare for a Raiders defense that is not good.
Yeah. And I mean, and Dobbs has had no time to prepare for shit since he got. I mean, he got there.
He's actually had a minute to
He
catch
got
up.
off the plane and started.
And by the way, Jefferson's back.
Okay, let's go Minnesota.
Yeah, I think Minnesota. Because without Jefferson, I'd say, all right, but no, he's back, I think. So.
Are you sure he's back?
He's been practicing for 2 weeks. They were talking about holding him up because they had the bye week coming up. He's going to start.
Either way.
He's going to start. I'm going to Minnesota.
I like Dobbs with 2 weeks finally to actually.
And he has 2 weeks with Jefferson.
Yeah.
I like Minnesota. Seattle at San Francisco. San Fran boat raced them up north in the Great Northwest. I don't see how that changes in San Fran. San Fran is rolling. They are healthy. And they know that if Philly loses to Dallas, San Fran is the number 1 seed. San Fran big time in this one.
And that basically locks shit up if they do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're not.
I mean, right? Nobody's going into San Fran to win.
It's San Fran's to lose. The only thing can derail San Fran at this point is injuries. Yeah. And I think they're locked in because now that they went in and bitch slapped the team that took them out last year, they know that there's nothing between them and the Super Bowl except injuries. So they're gonna put their head down and they're gonna roll everybody in their path.
Yeah.
Next one. Now this one is very, very interesting.
Is this Buffalo?
Buffalo at Kansas City. Buffalo should have beaten Philly. I don't blame Josh Allen for that one bit. But I know this: KC's passing attack does not match up.
Yeah.
It does not match up. Now,
but
there's
KC
a lot of
fucking needs this game.
They need this game. Well, but they're 9. They're going to win the West.
Oh, they're still 9-3.
They're 9-4. Sorry, 9-4.
And who's behind them? Denver.
Denver, who's 3 games back of them.
Yeah.
And that's it. Sandy. The Chargers are.
Okay.
The Chargers they're not.
Well, do they need it for? They're not getting the one, are they?
They're a game behind both Jacksonville and Baltimore.
Well, Jacksonville is now vulnerable.
They are.
Baltimore really isn't.
Well, they could catch Jacksonville. They got the head-to-head on Jacksonville too.
Yeah.
But Buffalo has to win this game.
They really do.
Buffalo literally has to win this game. And here's the thing.
Do you trust that one now?
Kansas City's defense to me is the most reliable part of this equation, but Josh Allen's due for a game where he just puts the cape on, and he usually does it against Kansas City. He usually has big games against them. I don't know.
Has he beaten Pat?
He lost to him with 13 seconds to go because their defense. But that was the Cheetah, who's no longer there. Mm-hmm. They don't have a guy like that. Yeah, Kansas City doesn't have that guy anymore.
But it was Kelsey that they let get open down the middle.
Well, now you don't have to worry about Kelsey. And by the way, Philadelphia was able
to... What about Kadarius Toney?
No. If I'm Buffalo, I'm going to go ahead and beat us with him or the other dude. This is a coin flip game. But I think Buffalo, because they're now see Casey lost. This is the thing. Casey lost
last week
to Green Bay, and now he was on the road. Green Bay's coming. They're better than people thought they were.
But usually when that happens, the next
he doesn't
week,
usually lose 2 in a row. So I'm going to go with KC on this one by virtue of the fact that he doesn't lose 2 in a row and he's at home.
Well, because that's like, remember when they lost to Denver?
Yeah.
And then the next week they had a big game.
Yeah.
And they won it.
Yeah. So I think KC at home, it's going to be tight. And Josh Allen is fully capable of putting up 30 on that defense. Now, the Chiefs' defense is healthy. So that front seven's pretty formidable. They could give them some fits. If he doesn't turn the ball over, this is going to come down to one possession. But if he does throws one of those, it could be over.
My gut was saying KC. You were starting to convince me Buffalo.
It's KC. I think needs the game, and they're at home. They're coming off a loss.
They don't need it.
Not as bad as Buffalo does, but they're coming off a loss. Yes. I can't.
But Buffalo is too. Buffalo's coming off a fucking earth-shattering loss.
That's what I'm saying. Could have broke them. I had Buffalo not making the playoffs this year, and this is the type
it feels like that. Yeah, they're really far out at this point.
They're far out. They lose a lot of tiebreakers.
I'm going with Patty Mahomes. Who's the Monday night game?
Actually, it's Sunday at 4:25. We have.
Oh, that was Sunday at 4:25.
Yeah, these are the 4:25 games. We're not done yet.
Oh,
so we have Denver at the Chargers. I'm going with Denver.
Yeah.
By virtue of the fact that coach is feeling the heat, and if it wasn't for Bailey Zappi, like they'd have lost that game. If it was any other but Bailey Zappi, they'd have lost that game.
Yeah, and Denver's defense is capable of smacking them around.
Yeah. The big one Sunday night, Philly at Dallas. The big one.
You see who I'm going with?
I am picking the Cowboys, big time in this one. Dallas.
Oh man, I hope Dallas
is desperate. Dallas is tired of hearing about how they can't beat this team. They should have beaten them the last time they played them, if we're being honest. And I only picked Philly because they were in Philly, and that's what happened. Philly is not going into Dallas and winning Sunday.
This is going to be the second time I picked Dallas to beat them, and you better fucking do it this time.
Well, I can answer you. If Dallas doesn't do it this time,
they're never going to do it.
They're done. Yeah. So if not now, when? Philly is vulnerable. They are banged up, and Philly has run the gauntlet. Look at Philly's last 3 games. They have been woodshed fight after fight. San Francisco caught them at the right time. They come off an overtime thriller with Buffalo game. They were winning on mystique and guts.
They got beat up in the Buffalo game.
They beat them, and San Fran just boat raced them.
Yeah.
So right now they look like a punch-drunk fighter who's like, "What round is it?" And here come the Cowboys. Hey, remember me? Bang! It's like so.
Remember when you punked us last week?
When you punked us, well, now you're in our house. I got Dallas in Jerry's world, probably by 2 touchdowns.
I mean, this is one of those games where it's like Dallas can actually gain some confidence about themselves.
Well, Dallas
because if they beat the Eagles, whether it's true or not, they can feel like, hey, we can play with the best in the East.
They played them very tough in Philly. They outgained them in the second half by over 100 yards.
But they've got
to close the deal.
They've got to beat them. Last year, I think they beat them when it was Minshew.
Yeah.
And it was a high scoring, like
40-34.
Yeah, like their defense gave up a bunch of points.
Yeah. Well,
their defense needs to beat up Jalen Hurts.
There's 2 problems with Dallas right now. One, and he's still the problem. It's the head coach,
Mikey.
Mikey's going to be the reason they fail. At the end of the day, he will be the reason. Dak is playing.
In what way?
When they fall short, not if, when, because barring injury,
clock management and shit like that at the end of the game.
He will fuck them up. He will. He's not. The only way they're beating San Fran is if San Fran's not healthy. If San Fran's healthy, they're not going into San Fran and winning. Get that out of your fucking head. Yeah. Okay, San Fran can smell it. They can smell it.
Smell it. So you say that, right? But when you go back and look at that playoff game last year in San Francisco, if Dak hadn't missed 4 or 5 throws, that's a completely different game. They match up with San Fran better than Philly does right now.
Yeah, they were so good. They were 42-10 the last time I saw them.
I know what happened this year, but I'm talking about last year when San Fran was healthy. If Dak played like mediocre, I think that would have been a really tight game, and they could have won. He played less than mediocre. He played bad.
So what happened this year?
I don't know.
Because I don't see. To me, there's this year. There's the whole. If this year didn't happen, you'd have a point. But then this year happened, and they boat raced to 42-10.
Sometimes shit. I'm just saying. I think Dallas.
I think San Fran
can play with them.
San Fran is in Dallas's head, like you read about. They are in their head. I don't care what you tell me. When you get
how many years in a row has it been that they've
knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 years? Once in Dallas, once in San Fran, where he
slid.
didn't know the rule, and they're in their own. And then again, that's a McCarthy thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what has Mike McCarthy done that tells me this is going to be different if they have to go to San Fran. And again, if San Fran is healthy, and they were in the NFC title game was in Philly last year. It's going to be in San Fran this year. Philly. This thing, Philly. Here's where Philly must understand. If Philly loses this game tonight, they lose home field. They lose it, and if they lose it, it's over. Because I don't think Philly can go on the road and win. I don't think they can. Their defense ain't good enough. And again, here's the other problem: Dallas's defense. Where is it?
Yeah, I mean
Where is it?
They got beat up by Seattle last week.
Yeah, the only reason that they beat Seattle was because Pete Carroll became Pete Carroll again and left, of all people, Micah Parsons unblocked on 4th down. Do you remember this play? He came off the edge. No one in Seattle thought to even breathe on him. He ran straight at the quarterback for a beeline and sacked him before he could get to read one on a 4th and 5. Talk about stupid coaching. On 4th and 5, you are double teaming Micah Parsons. That's the first fucking thing you do. He comes clean.
I mean, it's just shit Giants do, too. All right, so we're both picking Cowboys.
Yep, we are.
And Monday night?
Monday night, these two...
Oh, there's 2 games. 2 shit
Well, these are going to be
games.
quick because Tennessee is not going into Miami and winning. That's Miami. Right? Now, Green Bay is at the Giants, who are coming off a bye.
And Green Bay thinks they're tough shit because
I'll tell you
they're
now,
beating
say what you
Detroit
want about
and
this
KC.
salami guy, whatever his name is, but...
You talking about Tommy Cutlets, DeVito?
Who, by the way, understands he has a number 1 receiver and likes to use him. This game's going to be better than people think. Because I think
you can't pick the Giants, right?
I can do whatever I want. I'm me.
I didn't mean you. Meaning you. I just meant, man, I kind of want to pick the Giants.
They're coming off a bye. They're at home. They've won 2 out of their last 3. Their defense, by the way, has been playing well. Well.
Is Christian Watson out?
I don't know. That's the other question.
Because he hurt his hamstring.
I think. But again, Green Bay has looked so good
They really
the last
have.
3 weeks. They really have.
In order for Green Bay to lose this game, they'd have to completely overlook the Giants and come into this game feeling like,
I think that the key to that game is can the Giants stay in it long enough to make Green Bay panic? If they open up the offense, is Waller back?
I have not heard, but I'll check. So
'Cause-
Watson is questionable.
Okay, so we don't even know if he's going to play. That would hurt if they lost him. That would hurt Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he's a speed guy,
He's
too.
their
Giants
number.
struggle with them.
Yeah.
He appears to be a long shot to play this week.
That could be a problem.
Though he noted Thursday that his current hamstring injury doesn't look to be as severe as the one that kept him out for the first 4 games or whatever. All right, let me look for Waller.
Waller is
Because
another.
that's
That's big if he's out there.
even though him and DeVito haven't even played together yet, but he would be. Oh no, he's still on IR.
He's still out.
Waller hasn't suited up since being placed on IL after week 8. He missed the required 4 games, so the Giants are hopeful he can return in week 14 after having the week 13 bye.
Did he practice?
Coach Brian Dable said Tuesday that Waller is making progress, but wouldn't commit to the tight end being available for Monday's game.
All right, this is what we call gamesmanship, okay? Because this is him not wanting Green Bay to know, is he in or is he out? Okay? They want them to think about it. Because I can issue, he already knows whether he's going to play or not. He's saying that because Green Bay is reading it, okay? And they got to know, do we have to worry about this guy or not? He's not committing. He's non-committal. That tells me he's probably going to play.
Let me see if Dexter Lawrence is out, because he was out.
Yeah, the tackle, right?
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
he's not playing, their defense, like, he's such a big part of
He
their
really
defense
is.
getting pressure up the middle.
Yeah, he really is.
Giants injury report. Limited Dexter Lawrence. So he has a hamstring injury.
He's limited in practice, but he is
Yeah.
practicing. He's not
That's what
out.
it said, yeah.
So he's limited. So right now he's questionable. But again, they have the extra day. It's Monday night, not Sunday.
Yeah.
That's another 36 hours. You know, if Watson doesn't play, this gets very interesting.
Does it, though?
Yeah, it does. Because
You
I
think
think
so?
yes, I do. Because the Giants are not out of this thing. And I got news for you: they're scheduled the rest of the way.
They're out of it.
You think they're out of it because you're pessimistic.
No, dude, come. What are you, the Patriots guy that sends me the fucking thing with Oh, they're still in it. If every team loses all 7 games.
I was laughing as I sent that.
Yeah. So you should be laughing.
But they don't. That doesn't apply to them.
Yeah,
they're mathematically. They don't have to have 5 teams lose 6 out of 8.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Let's look at the standings.
They're 1 game behind a bunch of 5 and 7 teams. The 6th or 7th team is 6 and 6. They're 2 games back of the 7th spot. 2 games with 5 to play. They are not out of it.
Let's look at who they play.
Okay, let's look at who they play.
Oh, shit. Okay. NFL playoff standings 2023. NFC, okay? So the Giants are number 12 right now.
Giants are fucked.
Thank you.
No. It's
because of their schedule.
It's their schedule.
Yeah, I told you.
They're at New Orleans, at Philly,
They got to play Philly twice.
the Rams, and then they have Philly at home. They're fucked.
There's
fucked.
no way.
Green Bay.
You son of a bitch. You got me excited. I come out, I'm like, you can't go with the Giants. Right? I can do whatever I want.
I can.
Green Bay.
I looked at their schedule. I did not look at their schedule before I said that.
So here's the thing.
They're not going to beat New Orleans.
It's Tommy DeVito still. I know he's looked okay.
If they beat Green Bay Monday night, I give them a puncher's chance. But I can't see.
Nah.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
I just can't see it. I mean,
the crazy part is they play all the teams that are in front of them. You realize that?
Yes.
Like, look at.
And by the way, New Orleans, they're a mess.
So look, they're 12. New Orleans is 11.
Yep.
Tampa 10. Seattle 9. The Rams are 8.
Yep.
Green Bay 7.
Yep. Minnesota 6.
I mean,
They're right. I'm saying they're not out of it.
But they can't beat those teams.
Well, this is the thing. If they're getting Hyatt involved, that's huge. Waller coming back would be huge because they would give that offense some punch. Saquon Barkley has quietly had a good year when he's played. They're not devoid of weapons if Waller plays. They got some ways to hurt you. The thing is, can DeVito keep doing this? That's the question. Now, here's the problem. New Orleans defense in New Orleans.
Keep doing this. He put up 10 last week.
He doesn't have Waller. He's missing a guy. I mean, so Waller's.
Danny Dimes couldn't do shit with Waller.
Danny Dimes didn't have time.
There were times where Waller was open and he threw a pick to a fucking slant route.
He made some bad reads, probably because he was looking at the defense that was about to kill him. Like that 11-sack performance by the Seattle defense.
But my thing is this. So we're saying DeVito has time? No, DeVito.
I'm saying DeVito is not locking. DeVito is using Hyatt. He wasn't even looking at Hyatt.
Yeah,
DeVito's going the other way and getting because Hyatt's a guy. The reason Hyatt's a legit one is he can win within 2 seconds of the line of scrimmage.
Right, and you just got
to throw it up to him. And that now again, Danny Dimes didn't have confidence in him. Yeah. DeVito went, fuck it. If I'm going down, I'm going to go down with the guy they drafted, and it's working. Mm-hmm. So this is the thing. DeVito is throwing to that kid, so that's one thing that he was not doing. So he's getting rid of the ball before he gets drilled, number one. Number two, they're using Saquon in the passing game more, so they're getting the ball out a little faster to compensate for the line. That's why he hasn't been decapitated yet, okay? But the thing is, that's called coaching, and they're opening up the playbook and getting the weapons they have involved. And they're telling him, throw it to the fucking guy, or you're coming out. So that's it.
All right, so we're both going Green Bay.
With that said, we're going Green Bay.
Now, we have 2 games different. You're Cincy, I'm Indy. Mm-hmm. You are Bucks, I'm Falcons. Yeah. Everything else we have the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's the same, I think. So, by the way, the Giggle Smoke Guarantee.
Oh, yeah, what you got? Tomorrow
night, in the what do they call this thing? The in-season tournament there. Indiana's going to beat L.A. And I'll tell you why. Because LA doesn't play defense either. LeBron is on a mission to get he wants his name on that thing first and all this other bullshit.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what they're saying. And maybe that's true, LeBron, but the thing is, LeBron, that ain't the championship you need. That's not going to bolster your legacy. No one gives a fuck.
Dude, did you see the Lakers escape the other night when
at 40
Austin Reeves got stripped and LeBron called a timeout and they didn't even have possession of the ball?
Talk about home cooking. Oh, by the way, I've seen that before. It was 1987, Lakers, Celtics, Magic's hook. Right before that, Kevin McHale had the rebound. Magic calls timeout. McHale's grabbing the ball. They give LA the ball. Magic hits the hook that ends it and wins the series. Yeah. If they don't call that, the Celtics win. It's 2-2 and everything's probably different. And that was what the Celtics on. McHale on a fractured foot, Parrish on a broken leg, on a high ankle sprain, and Bill Walton out completely. That wasn't the 80s. Len Bias in the grave. Okay? That was all Larry Bird carrying that. So, yeah, I've seen it before. And it's funny how the fake show always gets those calls. Whether it's 1987 or 2023, the bastards always get the call. It's bullshit. And I got news for you. Tomorrow night, the calls ain't going to say him against this dude.
Tyrese?
This Halliburton dude? Yeah.
Halliburton. Yep. Wasn't that the name of like a government contractor?
I don't know.
That Dick Cheney used to give contracts to?
Halliburton?
Wasn't it Halliburton?
I don't know.
Let me see.
Why?
I mean, it's just an interesting coincidence.
I think America's looking forward to the 2 cents with Tommy more than what's Halliburton mean in terms of governmental.
Honestly, I don't have any 2 cents. I wasted them earlier in the week, remember?
You wasted them? 2 cents with Tommy is not going to happen?
No, remember I did it earlier in the week. We talked about mozzarella. We talked about Dom, the fucking King
That
Dom.
was an extended 2 cents with Tommy. That was 4 cents with Tommy.
I think Halliburton is what I thought it was.
Oh, there you go. See?
No, maybe that's Enron.
Enron, Halliburton, whatever. Same thing.
Let me see. Let me see. No.
That was Enron.
Dick Cheney, government contracts. Let's see.
Oh, my God. It's terrible.
How much did Halliburton make from the Iraq War?
Aha!
Fucking got it! I got it!
Halliburton!
You see, I know some shit every now and then. Halliburton gained $39.5 billion in federal contracts related to the Iraq War.
And what exactly were they providing?
Many individuals have asserted that there were profit motives for Bush-Cheney administration to invade Iraq in 2003. Dick Cheney served as Halliburton's CEO from 1995 till 2000. If that's not scandalous shit.
So in other words, they invaded a country that had no chemical weapons, and there was
No weapons of mass.
was
It
not-
was the
no weapons-
WMDs.
No weapons of mass destruction.
WMDs.
Had nothing to do with 9/11.
No.
They couldn't hit us.
Yeah, right. Well, he killed my dad.
Hey.
He tried to kill my daddy.
Hey,
Remember when Bush said
yeah,
that?
to kill my daddy. Well, that's great. What about the 6,000 people that died in those 2 towers, though? What about them, George? We weren't talking about your daddy.
Well, we're going into Iraq now.
Yeah, well,
Let's
right,
come on, don't change the subject.
Terrible.
Don't change the subject.
Terrible. Anyway,
Wow.
so if
2 cents
Tommy,
with Tommy.
if Tommy doesn't have 2 cents,
Go ahead. You got a rant.
RJ has, I wouldn't call it 2 cents, but
Make it choppy. We're already 12 minutes
I have
past
been
my,
make it
movie
choppy, make it fast, make it fast, make it choppy. Listen to you.
Chop.
It's funny because throughout the week it's been different people asking this question because I can't believe we didn't actually go into
Oh,
it.
I forgot, yeah. Well, because we yelled about it in the car on the way to
And
basketball.
we yelled about it in the car. That would go to the farce, the fucking joke of a college football playoff. Look, I get why they made this decision from a money perspective. Okay, but the problem is this isn't. If they were so worried about money, they should have had a 12-team playoff 20 years ago. Because 1AA has been cleaning up on a 16-team playoff that they could have done all along. Okay, no, they wanted control. That's what it was all about, control.
That's what the NCAA
always has been about control. Fuck the student athlete. Fuck you and your grades. Fuck you and your overcoming adversity. Here's the problem with this whole thing, America. And Booger McFarland nailed this. And so did what's his name? Heisman from Michigan there. Desmond Howard. They both nailed this because they're both. You know, here's the thing. It's got nothing to do with what we subjectively think could be the best matchup. Because here's the thing about here's what makes the NCAA tournament great. David. You just took David out of the equation, all because last year David beat one Goliath, but then got boat raced by another. Because Stephen A. Smith, what I love about Stephen A. Smith is he always finds the part of the argument that suits his angle. The problem with Georgia was going to boat race just about anybody except Ohio State. Okay, the problem is for that to happen, TCU had to beat another Goliath in Michigan, which they did, which is what made this thing so compelling. Because that's all anybody was talking about. Did you see TCU beat Michigan? Oh my God, TCU! How the hell did TCU? That was the whole fucking story. That was the whole story. Now look, the national championship was anticlimactic, but that doesn't mean you blow the whole thing up or go, well, we can't do that again because that happened. When the Bears boat raced the Patriots 46-10 in 1986, did they change the whole playoff format? How about 3 years later when San Fran boat raced Denver 55-10? Did the NFL change their whole fucking playoff format? No. They didn't do that.
That's not why they did this.
They did it because they want the best matchup.
Right.
Alabama's the better matchup. Here's the problem with this. The SEC got by on reputation. The SEC's out-of-conference record this year was 7-9. They were below average. The SEC ain't what the SEC used to be. And by the way, Georgia proved it when they had a home game against Bama and lost. And Bama proved it when they had a home game against Texas and lost. Neither one of these teams should be in this tournament. Florida State goes undefeated, goes into LSU and beats them by 3 touchdowns, by the way. And everybody, well, that was the quarterback. It was still on the road in LSU. And then they go down to their 3rd-string quarterback and beat the 14th-ranked team in the nation with their 3rd-string quarterback. And you penalize them for that? Doesn't that speak to how good the team actually is? Because how many teams in this country right now could go to their 3rd-string quarterback and beat a top 15 team in this country? I'm going to give you a hint. Only one did it. Florida State. And Florida State also, and I love how they go, well, their strength of schedule is 55. That's a load of shit. They beat 8 teams that were bowl eligible. No other team beat more than 5. That means their schedule was tougher. And
there's a lot of dog shit teams
the ACC was 6-4 against the SEC. The ACC was 6-4 against the SEC.
What teams?
I don't know. They posted the record. ESPN posted this record.
They beat Missouri?
No, Missouri's ranked 10th. If they beat Missouri, great.
You said they were frauds.
The SEC is frauds. They're fraud. The two best teams. Yes, they are fraud. They lost at home to Texas. They're a fraud. That game has to count.
Texas is the number 4 team in the country.
Texas should have gotten in. Alabama should not. They should not.
I'd rather see Alabama.
Look at Georgia's out-of-conference schedule and tell me how tough that out-of-conference schedule was. Look at the 3 teams they played out. They're a fucking joke. They're fucking jokes.
So you're saying Georgia's not that good?
No, I think Georgia's overrated. I do. But I know this. Florida State is underrated. And Florida State did everything they were supposed to do.
You were picking Georgia to beat Alabama.
Yeah, because it was a home game. And what I found out was... Yeah, well, you know why? Because Georgia's not as good as I thought they were. And they're not.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
Well, Georgia is not who I thought they were because they had a home
That's why we took the damn field.
Hey, only one power conference team had a conference championship in their backyard. It was Georgia.
Dude, if you want to crown FSU, then crown their ass.
I am crowning them. And I'm telling you right now, Alabama got by on reputation. Nick Saban sat there and cried and got because he's Nick Saban. And then Dion, who has nothing else to say because his program sucks, goes, you can't have a playoff without Nick Saban. And they ate that shit up. Oh, that's Dion. That's it. Yeah, Dion was 4-8. Fuck off, Dion. Okay, I don't want to hear about Dion. Okay, that's a motherfucking joke. Dion, see me when you fucking go to a bowl. Okay, shut up. Okay, the bottom line is this: they didn't belong there. And I don't care if they went in Georgia, beat Georgia. Georgia's out-of-conference schedule proved they weren't as good as they were in the past. The SEC's 7-9 record against out-of-conference proves the SEC is not what it was. It's not what it was. It got by on reputation, and that's bullshit. You cannot do this objectively. This is the first time in the history of this playoff that a Power 5 conference undefeated team did not get in. And why? Because their quarterback broke his leg. Oh, but they still won. Oh, that doesn't matter.
No,
that doesn't matter.
Truth is
that's fucking joke.
A basketball
and the problem is that's not the reason. And the problem is they're afraid that they like. Well, we don't think.
Nobody looks at
we
the
don't think.
ACC
No. Here's the problem. And this is what the guy who was in that room said on camera. Well, when we looked at them matching up, and we had 2 former coaches in the room. Oh, well, there you go, 2 former coaches. And they said, well, we don't think that team can beat that team on paper. Here's the problem with that. No one thought that Washington could beat Oregon. They were a 10-point dog. They fucking won. No one thought last year TCU could beat Michigan. They were 14. They won. The eye test doesn't mean shit. It's been proven and proven and proven. The eye test does. There is no guarantee that these matchups are going to be.
I don't agree with that one.
They were a 10-point favorite.
I know, but that's Vegas.
That's the eye test.
Betting.
That's the eye test. That's the eye test.
So
how else do you make a team a 10-point favorite if
Vegas
you lost to them once already?
This is what Vegas does. Vegas puts a line where they can get the most money in.
That's what they're doing.
That's what the
committee is doing.
No, I'm not talking about that. Vegas is trying to get people to bet on the game. Okay? So
the NCAA, they're trying to get people to watch it. They're afraid that. Well, first of all, here's what I'm saying. The reason
you can't look at a spread and say nobody thought. No, they're doing it to get money.
Florida State has a top 10 defense in this country. And everybody
already beaten them.
Florida State has a top 10 defense in this country, and everybody says their defense is championship metal. Okay. And all they got to do is keep it close. And by the way, it won't be the 3rd-string quarterback in this game. It's going to be the 2nd-string quarterback who's proven he's actually good. Okay, they ain't going to even have that guy. They're going to have the 2nd-string guy playing in the playoff game or in the bowl game against Georgia. Okay, and the bottom line is they're playing Georgia. Well, of course they are because they're like, this is going to be a neutral site game. I got news for you. Florida State's defense is going to. You watch this.
All right. So here's the thing: if they beat Georgia, I'll kindly admit I was wrong.
Wow, Tom. Way to go out on a limb there. If they beat Georgia with their second, Georgia is the better team without their 1st-string quarterback. Georgia's not in the playoff. And by the way, how is Georgia behind them if they're so fucking good?
What do you mean?
The Georgia fell to 6th.
So?
I'm saying
the same dumbasses that you're yelling about are the ones that put Georgia.
You
6.
cannot leave an undefeated team with who has their strength of record was 3rd. It was 3rd. Okay, in the nation.
They were saying an RPI of like 50.
No, their strength of record was 3rd. That's all they have. Here's the thing. This is how the committee fucks you up. They put both stats up there, and you got to figure out which one means more. Okay.
This way, I don't even give a shit.
No, the bottom line is, I do
care.
give a shit because it sends the wrong message. You know what, kids? Fuck it, overcome adversity. Fuck not quitting when the chips are down and beating a ranked team. Fuck all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if you're not going to make enough money, or they don't think you are, okay, it doesn't matter. And that's the wrong message to send.
That's the NCAA.
It's subjective. It's not objective.
It's always been that.
It's
always been subjective.
You had 4. I know the system is broken, but the point is, in this case, you had 4 power conference teams that fit the mold by their record and what they accomplished. It was right there. It should have been Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State. It was right there. It was cut and dry. But because the SEC stomped their feet and kicked and cried, and Dion got on his horse, and okay,
this wasn't about Dion.
I don't think Dion hurt.
I don't think he hurt. He didn't talk until after.
He said you can't have a.
He said that after.
He said that on camera after. Who knows when he actually said it? The bottom line is, look, they were influenced by a number of things, and one of them was the SEC. The SEC is not the conference they once were.
The SEC makes the most money for the fucking NCAA.
They're not the conference they were in years past. Their
agree.
record out of conference proves it.
Fucking,
Pac-10 was the best conference in America this year. It was by far.
The ACC is also not a great football conference.
The ACC ended up with 4 ranked teams, and one of them is undefeated, and one of them went. One of them went in.
UNC, they weren't shit.
UNC is not. Neither one of them is ranked. I'm talking about Clemson, Louisville, those teams. Yeah, they were because of their record, but they fell off.
Right. So those are probably some of the teams that you're saying was bowl eligible that Florida State beat.
So what? Look at the fuck. Alabama beat Auburn on the last play of the game. Go look at Auburn.
Yeah,
Auburn sucks.
That was what, a 4th and 31?
A 4th and 31, yeah. And by the way, if you get beat on a 4th and 31, you suck.
So to me,
you suck.
To me, that's the best argument. That's the best argument. That
Alabama is not that
because
good,
I'm looking at Alabama like they are the powerhouse that they've always been.
They're not.
And
they got boat raced by Texas at home. Texas went in and beat them.
And if Auburn... Look, if Auburn doesn't fuck up, they win that game.
4th and 31. How do you sit there and tell me the SEC's a power when an SEC team at home can give up a 4th and 31 on the last play of the game? You gonna tell me the SEC's all that? Shut the fuck up with that.
I'm not saying they're all that.
They're not all that.
I'd just rather see Alabama.
Well, I got news for you. This is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. And for those of you people going, well, back in 1980, whatever, Florida State, there was no playoff then. There was no scenario where 14. There was no 4-team or 5-team. And again,
now, to me, this has nothing to do with years past.
No, but there are people pray. Well, Georgia,
like Stephen A. said, it was about last year. TCU got to the final.
TCU upset one of the Goliaths. And by the way, that was the most compelling part of that tournament.
Yeah,
because TCU, who wasn't supposed to be there, beat Michigan.
Yeah, and they beat them.
And now you're taking what? Here's the scenario: Florida State gets in, and they draw Michigan. Okay. And they play Michigan with a backup quarterback, and they beat them. That's not a compelling story. No, now they lost it. That's the story of America. That's the story.
Michigan boat races them though.
I don't think anybody's boat racing that defense. I got news for you. I don't think anybody's boat racing that defense. Yeah. That Florida State defense is for real.
If Georgia does, then you can.
I don't think Georgia State goes going to do it.
Stuff your Florida State.
I'm not going to stuff anything. Florida State does
still. You can stuff your Florida sack.
No, I won't. No, I will not stuff it because you know what? Georgia should win that game again because why? The Heisman Trophy candidate's not there. Okay, the bottom line is they shouldn't even get the chance. They shouldn't even get the chance. They had their chance. They had it at home. They had it in their backyard, and they couldn't beat Bama, who only beat Auburn because Auburn sucks. Or Bama wouldn't have been there. The SEC is over-fucking-rated. They got by on reputation. It was bullshit. You ignored the facts. You ignored the facts, and you went on reputation. That is what happened here, and it's bullshit. And it's the first time it's ever happened. It's the first time it's ever happened in the history of this playoff where a Power 5 undefeated conference champion did not get in. And why? His quarterback broke his leg.
ACC a Power 5 is, I'm sorry.
It's been a Power 5.
Real, but it's not.
Oh, really? Can you name me 5 football conferences better than the ACC? Go. Can you name 5? No, you can't. You can name maybe 2. You name 2. The SEC and the Pac-10 this year.
Okay, so like This year, maybe.
But we're going by this year.
We're talking about the Big 10, the Big 12.
You know, remember they had Clemson, who won 2 national championships out of the ACC.
That's all they've ever had.
No, they haven't.
Yes.
No.
Florida State, Miami, they haven't been good.
No, but they've won national championships in the past. They've had a history. Recently, they have Clemson.
For the past 25
Recently,
years.
Clemson has won 2 of the last 7 national titles.
Just them.
Only one team can fucking win it, Tom.
No. I'm saying, I'm not. Look. I'm saying it's been Clemson and a bunch of mediocre bullshit.
No, not mediocre bullshit.
Yes.
One could argue it's been Alabama and a bunch of until Georgia showed up. Who, by the way, was an Alabama coach. Give me a fucking break.
No,
You can play that game both ways. The bottom line is they ignored the facts and went subjective and went with reputation, and that's bullshit. Subjective. Well, that's why it's wrong.
Yeah. Well, when you have too many teams and not enough spots, it's going to be subjective.
By the way, when you have too many teams and not enough spots, you go by best record, Power 5 conference, and they win the cut. That's what you go by. Oh, and strength of schedule. Florida State was 3rd ahead of all these teams.
This is the same argument that people like Central Florida have been yelling about. Liberty might yell about.
It's facts.
We went 13.
Hey, by your logic, VCU should never be in that March Madness thing, but they got to the Final Four, didn't they, one year? Why? Because they were allowed in.
They shouldn't have been in that tournament.
But they got to the Final Four.
It was subjective.
Yeah.
So they got let in.
No, that was a field of 68. They got in because of their record.
No, they got in. They were a play-in team.
So they had to play their way.
They shouldn't have even been in that.
Hold on. They had to play their way in. So they didn't get voted in. They had to play their way in.
No, they got voted into that spot.
They still have to play their way in. Because they could lose, and then you would have been right. They didn't belong.
They didn't, actually.
Well, then how did they get in?
Because they played subjective and they got picked.
No, they got into the play-in tournament, which is what, 68 and 69, whatever the fuck those two teams are?
Well, no, it's 65, 66, 67, 68.
And because of the play-in...
Now that's part of the tournament.
Because of the play-in...
They got selected to be in
Because of the play-in, they made a Final Four run. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that's why March Madness makes the most money, because of shit like that. Yeah. You had a chance to do that with a team that actually had all the credentials, and you didn't because you sat there and listened to the SEC cry about, we're the SEC, and you're being nothing without us, all this blah, blah, blah. The fact is the SEC sucked this year and didn't belong. Didn't belong.
All right, I'm late.
Yeah, you're late. He's late for his date. Go tell Casey the SEC sucks. Okay? Hey, man, you guys enjoy the weekend.
Hey, babe.
You guys enjoy the weekend. Florida State, you got robbed. You got robbed, you got jobbed, you got flayed, finagled, there was bullshit. And the 13 men, by the way, these are the same idiots who penalized JMU for moving up.
Dude, I know. They suck.
That's all he had to say. Boom.
I know.
That's it.
Look, I'm not.
That's it.
So
no. The segment's over, Tom. You said look, you wanted Alabama. Let the record show.
No,
Alabama.
I'm saying, I'm arguing with you because that's what we do on the show. But I also understand.
Logically
that
this makes no
Alabama
sense.
didn't deserve to
They
be
did not deserve it.
Now, as a casual college football fan that doesn't really know a ton about college football, I would rather see the big name in there. Yeah, and that doesn't make it fair.
Which ain't the big name anymore.
Right, but to me, because I'm not a big college football fan, I think college football, I think Alabama.
So what he's saying is, America, he'll ignore the facts.
Yes, I will. I'll totally ignore them. I live a lie every goddamn day.
He's living a lie, and college football, you're living a lie. This is pathetic. Florida State,
NCAA
you got boat
has always been shit.
Nick Saban, go. You and Belichick, just both of you go away. I'm sick of both of you. Really.
Oh, dude.
Enjoy the weekend.
Did you hear Bart Scott talking about how he wouldn't piss on Bill Belichick if he was on fire?
Well, Bart Scott's always said that. Every time Bill Belichick has bitch slapped Bart Scott, or I should say Tom Brady has done it.
Well, no, he said he hates Belichick for something he did to him after football.
Oh. Well, that could have been 2 cents for Tommy right there, but he blew it.
I forgot about it.
And to think,
he's going.
No Yoda, no Jobu, and no Betty tonight, and he forgot. All right. Enjoy the weekend, America. We will see you guys on Tip 'em Back Tuesday. It'll be the mid-December. We're getting closer to the magical day. It's cold.
We're going to go down to one goddamn night a week.
You're such a pussy. You come from New Yorker? Oh.
Dude, I left New York when I was 6. Been in Virginia since then.
Oh. Of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
As you should know, pussies are much tougher than ball sacks. As Betty White once said.
They take a pounding.
You flick a ball sack, guy goes down.
Take a pounding.
Pussy can really take a pounding.
Well, it's set up to do that.
And it can allow
It's built that way.
Person to come out of it.
Balls are not set up to take that.
So calling people the punanis really doesn't. I mean, you're calling me
tough.
Is it a compliment? You're calling me tough.
Pufta. How about pufta? That's pussy fart.
That's what a pufta is?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I thought that was a queef.
No. That's another name for it. It's got a few names. Puff and queef. There's a few of them.